This video is not for whales and dolphins. It's for you, because you are just like me. Average Light Gamer here, and today I want to talk about Strinova. I'm kidding, this is the lighter video. But let's just cut to the chase anyway. I'm not pulling lighter because I don't have Ellen and I don't enjoy playing Soldier 11. Now, if you have Ellen and you want to keep playing her, then you should consider lighter. And if you have and enjoy playing Soldier 11, then you should also consider lighter. Right, all done. So, in other news, any of y'all heard of Strinova? I don't know what the hell's going on most of the time, but I think I might be kind of good at it. My favorite character is Bargain Basement Barbara, but I can get down with Discount Gene. Okay. This is not a bait and switch, and let's actually get back and cover lighter stuff. We'll talk about how he works as team options, and then I'll give a bit more detail on why you may or may not want to consider pulling it. Plus, I called him bait in the thumbnail. Am I just not even going to address that? No, of course, we'll get to it. Okay, so how does he work? Lighter is kind of a burst stun unit in that he has a little meter, his morale meter, and once it reaches the marked point and you hit his 5th hit of Lighter's attack chain, then he can go full JoJo. He eats his morale and it boosts his impact. Very useful for stun unit. When he hits enemies while in the morale state, he applies a 15% fire and ice resistance debuff to enemies. When Lighter finishes his combo with his Punch Flurry, which is the end of his basic attack string, while in the morale state, he gives a buff to his teammates of up to 75% ice and fire damage depending on Lighter's amount of impact. And remember, he buffs his own impact. For the max buff, he needs 270 impact, and additional damage only starts being added for every 10 impact Lighter has over 170. Again, Lighter does buff his own impact while in the morale state, so he'll be able to build up to the impact required or potentially close to it, depending on how well geared he is, and as I'm sure you can guess, that is really useful for fire and ice agents. But in order to trigger that particular ice and fire up to 75% buff, Lighter does need to have his core passive activated, which requires an attack agent or a Sons of Kaladin teammate. We'll talk a lot more about this when we talk about teams in just a moment. The rest of his moves are pretty as expected. I will mention though that his EX special allows for him to jump to hits 4 and then 5 of his attack chain, enabling you to reach the end flurry punches faster. Something else that feels important to mention though is that when Lighter is in the morale state and causes stun on an enemy, it triggers the collapse effect, which extends the stun duration by 3 seconds. Now, this might not sound like much, however, I'm pretty sure when you're fighting Doppelganger Jane, she's only stunned for about 7 seconds. So it actually massively increases that window for your damage dealing units to unleash on stunned enemies, particularly when stun windows seem to be getting shorter and shorter. If that's a trend that continues, then Lighter's value is probably only going to increase over time because of this. Overall, I think his kit is good for a limited S-rank stun agent, but he's quite specific in the types of teams that he wants to support. Because he can support on both fire and ice teams, his flexibility is essentially double Lycan's, but he's not universal enough to be used in any stun agent slot, so it will only be on fire and ice teams that you want to use it. And that's right, I remembered how to pronounce Lycan. It's easy. It's the same as like and subscribe to support small creators like me on YouTube. So we'll move on to talking about more teams in just a moment, but before we do, this is your reminder that you probably aren't subscribed. It really helps out the channel. You can also follow me on Twitch and join the Discord. Thank you for all your support so far. You guys are amazing. So let's talk about teams then. As mentioned, in order to activate his core passive, he needs to have an attack agent or a Sons of Kaladin teammate, which I think is really a massive missed opportunity to do something more interesting and lean into what Lighter does best, which is stun on ice and fire teams. So he kind of can because of the attack character necessity of his core passive. So that means he can be run with a fire or ice attacker, so Soldier 11 or 11, which is all he needs, right? Yeah, but what if there's a hyped up and supposedly powerful ice anomaly agent coming? Well, he might be able to work with Miyabi, and he may not. It also remains to be seen whether or not Miyabi even wants him, and as much as I would like the Miyabi Bernice Lighter team to work, Lighter's core passive doesn't seem to be helping his case, as he definitely can't connect directly to Miyabi. He'll need a connecting character, and this very much depends on Miyabi's core passive, which is still not confirmed. She might want another anomaly and then Bernice would work, but she also might want a support or another ice character, or maybe she might even be limited to Section 6 only. She is the first Void Hunter we've seen after all. It's all still guesswork at this point. So if you were going to get Lighter for Miyabi, and that is your reason for getting him, then I would wait. I would wait until the last week and a bit of Lighter's banner, and then we'll have had the 1.4 livestream, and we would have seen demos for upcoming 1.4 characters, Haramasa and Miyabi. It is then that you would be able to make a much better call on what it is that you want to do, and it is for this reason that I think it's fair to call Lighter bait. Because some players, myself included, might start thinking, well, we're about to get this powerful ice character, so surely that's what Lighter is here for. And although he might do well with Miyabi, I don't think that's his intended purpose. As per his core passive, he's intended to work with attack characters who can maximize that stun damage window. More specifically, and currently in the game, these characters are Ellen and Soldier 11, and if you are getting him for that purpose, then go for it. I'm sure you'll be very happy. However, if you are looking forward and thinking about Lighter and Miyabi and trying to connect those dots, then you could be right. I've talked about it before, and I kind of hope that it is indeed true that he works really well with Miyabi, but anomaly characters tend to want more anomaly and some big buffs. And while Lighter does provide big buffs, if his synergies don't line up, which I'm thinking is looking more and more likely, then it would just suck to get baited by the idea of Lighter/Miyabi and then realize that it can only work in a niche circumstance where you have to give up someone's core passive or other stuff. So the smart thing to do will be to wait for further confirmation on the 1.4 characters before pulling on Lighter. In terms of what I'll be doing just that. Waiting with bated breath for the 1.4 livestream and hoping that we get some indication that Lighter Miyabi teams are viable, hopefully from her pre-release stuff that is released at that point. And should we not get anything, then yeah, Lighter is a skip for me. And for right now, that's what I'm planning to do. It doesn't mean I won't do a YOLO temple. I am a gacha player after all, but the plan is to skip. And I'll show my account because maybe some of you are still in similar enough positions, but I have heavily built into the current anomaly meta because we keep getting banger limited S-rank anomaly characters. So as much as I have Soldier 11, even if I enjoyed playing her and pulled Lighter for her, her damage output will still seem small in comparison to my Yanagi Bernice team or my Jane Hypercarry teams, because she won't be particularly well built, and as much as I enjoy building characters, I have to enjoy the character first. As mentioned several times throughout this video, if you have Soldier 11 or Ellen and you still run them and you want to keep playing them, then Lighter is for you. In that circumstance, he is not bait at all. You go right ahead, bud. Lastly then, I want to mention that if you just pull for cool characters or hot dudes, then fill your boots and feel free to ignore everything I have said in this video. Lighter is here for the husbando enjoyers, and if you want to enjoy him, then you go right ahead. I have to say as well, from a design perspective, I do think that Lighter lives up to the billing of the first Zenless Zone Zero husbando. He's attractive, cool, kind of funny, and his English voice is by the GOAT Alex Lee. So I can definitely see the appeal, and as mentioned, I'll be throwing in a YOLO 10. So anyway, what do you guys think, and what are your plans for Lighter? Let me know in the comments down below. I think he actually might be one of the most divisive characters we've had so far. For day one players still playing Ellen, he makes a lot of sense, but for players that have leaned hard into Anomaly, he makes a lot less sense. And for players looking forward to Miyabi, don't get baited. Just wait, and I'll be happy if I'm wrong, but at least you didn't invest on day one of his banner only to regret it in a couple of weeks. If you're interested, another video of mine should pop up now. I'm off now to finish some prep for stream on Thursday. I'm going to be doing 5 dudes in one stream. I mean, I'm going to be reviewing and demoing at least 5 viewer accounts in one stream. Yeah, the first way I said that was a little confusing. Please don't get confused by that. Remember to like and subscribe for better than average luck on all your pulls. Pull responsibly, stay weird. Bye, 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 bye.